Welcome back. Well, let's get the conversation going around the new regime which kicks in from tomorrow with respect to transaction charges that market infrastructure institutions, MIIs as they're called, the system that they will have to now adopt. And in line with the regulatory changes, the NSE and BSE have revised transaction charges to comply with SEBI's directive requiring them to do away with the slab-based fee structure that was prevailing earlier. Now, one has to look at a true-to-label fee structure, which is based on average realizations. And the question is whether it could perhaps impact revenue for brokers, particularly discount brokers. To talk about this, we have with us Rajesh Palviya, VP Technical and Derivative Research at Axis Securities. Rajesh, thanks for joining in. Now, this is something that's been discussed, I think, over the last couple of months since this was announced, this flat fee structure. What is your take now that brokers can't pocket the difference between how much they're collecting from the end user, which is me, and actually paying to the exchange? What happens now? And break it up into different, class and category of brokers, from the discount guys to the regular broking institutions.
Good morning, Surbi. So definitely the circular came in July to all market infrastructure institutions that, they cannot have now slab-based mechanism to facilitate all these brokers. So I think now it's fixed charges, all transaction fees they are charging to the broker. It would be a fixed charges. They cannot have slab mechanism based on their market share. So discount brokers were enjoying this, slab-based structure much because they were attracting more, volumes in terms of as they are charging very low brokerage or, zero brokerage kind of structure. So I think the major participations were attracted by the major derivative traders were attracted on the discount broker. So I think there could be impact on their, volumes, and maybe what benefit they are getting by these slabs will impact to their profitability on an immediate basis. But the way Nifty has changed the structure now, the cash segment now will be having 2.97 per lakh, and for equity future again they will be having 1.73 rupees per lakh, and for equity options it's 35.03 for per lakh of premium value. So this is the flat transaction fees they have to charge to the client now. There will be a level playing field for all the brokers. So client will not have any kind of differentiation across all the broker community. They will be having the same structure in terms of charges, because what has impacted those who are high frequency trader, those who are doing bulk trading, or those who are having high volume. They are the cost is the major key driver for those to deploy all algo kind of strategies. So they will be impacted by this thing, but brokers on the discount broker will get the major hit by this thing.
Yeah. So Rajesh, let's just take the the rates are on the screen, the ones that you mentioned. Let's just take that example, the equity options segment, because that's where we're getting so much of volume, where the earlier band was 29.5 to 49.5, and now there's a midpoint, flat 35.03, as you said. The question is, will broking costs go up for the end customer? Zerodha, has come in and made that statement that their revenues are going to be hit. So is this the end of discount broking? That's question number one.
So definitely to meet out the revenue difference, I think they have to increase the brokerage structure to meet out all this the difference which they were getting by the transaction fees slab structure. So I think yes, definitely there will be an increase in the brokerage by the discount brokers. So that will give impact to their business volume also, because now there will be a similarity in the charges between the full service broker as well as the discount broker. So yes, there could be some hit on the brokerage side. So clients have to give more brokerage on the discount broker platform also going forward.
All right. Hi, Rajesh. Good morning and good to see you. And let's talk about the exchanges then. Everyone's debating NSE will list or will not list, but BSE is running away and the stock has been on fire. I think in the last 40 days, the stock is up close to 25% or thereabouts. What are you making of the current valuations? If you could give us an update first on a forward multiple, what is BSE trading at? And do you think it's trading at very elevated multiples? Because there are some curves that are coming into play with regard to transactions, with regard to volumes as well, which could be a risk to earnings. So your take.
So I think on the exchanges front, I think there won't be any major difference because they will be getting the same charges, and there is no as such changes from their revenue front by this transaction fees, because they will be getting the same transaction fees what they are charging. So I don't think there will be any changes in the revenue of exchanges. But yes, the way BSE has moved up in anticipation of that, NSE, their good list, and that the peer company benefit, and most of the participants have participated in BSE because it's available on the exchanges. So I think that has stretched the valuation at this juncture, and the way stock has moved up, yes, definitely it's at a stretched level at this moment. But on these transaction fees, I think there won't be any changes in the revenue for exchanges.
Got it. Transaction fees aside, what is the multiple it's trading at, BSE? Yeah, the valuation multiple you were telling us about BSE, that's trading at fairly elevated levels. You made that point, but if you could give us the number.
That I don't have a ready number with me.
Got it.
Okay. So Rajesh, the point that you've made is that this should be largely revenue neutral for exchanges, but it's a question of what brokers do now, and whether the discount brokers start increasing pricing. I know, this is not a space you track. You're not a fundamental analyst on capital market institutions, but nonetheless, I remember having a conversation on this when the original regulations were announced, and one counter thought process there was that it's still a very competitive market. You still want to do volumes, you want to catch in the retail, you want to get the larger institution, the algo guys, like you said. So it will prevent, in general, a rise in, too much of a rise in broking fees, and it will remain very competitive. While discount brokers will have to actually hike, the basic broking charge, there are other levers which they could adopt as well to overall keep costs low. Is that a scenario that could play out? What's the final sort of word on this, you think?
So definitely the brokerage is the only tool where they can, compensate all this, the slab hit which they have got by this flat structure. So I think there would be increase in the brokerage going forward. As we have seen, in last couple of years, the major traction which we have, attracted on the derivative market is because of the one of the reason is, low brokerage structure for this discount broker, and they have facilitated most of the traders by, charging low brokerage. And now we have seen, a huge rise in derivative volume. So and a lot of concern raised by the regulators also by seeing this kind of extraordinary volume which we are seeing in the option market as well as in the derivative market. So a lot of measures they are considering a lot of measures to curb these kind of extraordinary activity and to protect the interest of retail clients, those who don't have edge on the derivative market. So I think by increasing these charges, I think there would be some volume activity would be dry up, and as well as another measures which are going to come after this SEBI meeting today. I think another measures will also give some volume dry up going forward. So I think the concern is it has to be level playing field. There should not be any discrimination between the larger player, but between and the retail player, and there should not be any discrimination between the broker to broker. So I think it's going to be a level playing field for all across the broking community, as well as it will help to the traders also.
Okay, well let's hope it plays out well. Thank you very much, Rajesh, for giving us some perspective in this. The new regime in terms of transaction charges kicks off from